Hello, world. This is Democratic Defenders. I'm Tim Bagwell, and my partner here is Rich Garling. Hey, Rich, what do we got going on today?
Well, today, Tim, we have the pleasure of talking with the Lake County Sheriff, John Idleburg. And today we're going to have a nice discussion, about what it is that John does. So, John, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing, Rich? How you doing, Tim? My name is
All right.
Sheriff John D. Idleburg. I'm the Sheriff of Lake County. Got elected in 2018, became the first minority sheriff of Lake County, and the first minority to win a countywide election.
Well,
And then I ran for re-election in 2018 and got reelected, won by 30,000 votes. So I'm here today to talk to you about the Lake County Sheriff Department.
Well, good.
Fantastic.
Good. So, John, there was one question I wanted to ask you, and I thought long and hard about this one. Hang on a second. Let me get to my question here. And I want you to be honest with me about this, okay?
Yes, sir.
How many hats do you wear in a single day, and do you ever forget which one you have on?
Well, you know what? The sheriff of the county, you wear a lot of different hats. As the sheriff of the county, I have what we call three main responsibility, which is the jail, the Lake County Jail. I'm responsible for the courthouse, which is the security of the courthouse and the judges, and the safety of the building, people coming in and out doing the screening and stuff like that. And then my other responsibility is what we call civil processing, serving the subpoena, the warrants, eviction notice, order of protection, my responsibility. But I also have many other responsibilities. I do have a highway patrol that patrols the county. I do have a detective bureau that investigate crimes. And then we also have what we call is a special investigative group that is a task force of local police department and federal agencies that investigate crimes that come across all the different borders within the state of Illinois and the county. So we investigate that.
Cool. You mentioned federal, and I know you've served, in the Marines. Thank you
Yes,
for your
sir.
service. And you've also served as a Lake County Sheriff's Deputy.
Yes.
You were also a school police officer. You graduated from Zion Benton High School. I was like, wow, and that and from everything that I saw, you're a busy guy. You're a very busy guy.
I am a very busy guy. I really started my law enforcement career back in 1977 as a deputy in the Lake County Jail. I spent a couple of years there in the jail, and then I took on a position with the Great Lakes Police Department, where I went to the Chicago Police Academy to be what we call certified as a police officer in the state of Illinois. I did that 2 years as a patrolman. I got promoted to detective. I worked all different type of crime on the base. And then I took on a position with the Department of Defense as a special agent, investigating individuals within the different agencies of of the military forces, and also people on the Navy base. So we did background investigation on them to see if they were worthy to have a top secret clearance. And I did that for 4 years. And some people say I can't keep a job. So I took on a job with the Treasury Department.
That was going to be my joke. That was my joke.
No.
And-
Tim and I resemble that remark.
Okay. Where I got hired by the Treasury Department, and I worked what we call Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. It was a nice long term. I was internal affairs of the IRS. I investigate employees of the IRS and people making threats against the IRS. When people make a threat like, hey, I'm going to come down and blow up the building, I'm going to come by and shoot up the place, they would see me and another agent knocking on the door and say, hey, how you doing? Did you mean what you said?
I can hear you there.
We did stuff like that.
Day.
Yeah, so I went to the Federal Law Enforcement Academy, which is in Fletsey, which is a federal law enforcement training academy in Glencoe, Georgia.
If you
There's
watch
only three.
NCIS, you know about that.
Yeah, and when I went to school, there were only three federal law enforcement academy. You had Quantico, where the FBI went to, and then you had Langley, where CIA went to, but everybody else went to the Federal Law Enforcement Academy to learn how to be a federal agent. Then you, after your training, you went back to your office, and then you went back for your specialized training and stuff like that. So I have worked with all, I would say, all the federal law enforcement alphabets of America. I've been trained by all of them, and I have worked on task force and stuff like that. Well, some of the things I'm real happy about is that anytime Secret Service does not have enough agents to cover special details, they ask the sister agencies of the Treasury Department to help out. So I was one of the individuals who was asked to participate when Bill Clinton ran for re-election. They had a Democratic Party in Chicago. I was on his protection detail.
Oh, wow.
Also served at the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics at the 9/11. We protected dignitaries from around the world at the Winter Olympics. I was there for 30 days protecting dignitaries and people attending the Winter Olympics. And also I protected details at the United Nations when they had dignitaries come in from around the world and they had a United Nations meeting in New York City. I was there protecting people. And people say, how did you do that? Well, because I was an agent of the Treasury Department, and all of us had top secret clearance. So, like I said, anytime Secret Service didn't have enough bodies, they would add the sister agencies to help out. So I have been in law enforcement since 1977,
70s.
and I'm a retired
Wow.
federal agent from the Treasury Department, over 32 years of service. I retired, came home, drove my wife crazy. She said, listen here, you've been running around with the big dog, federal agents telling people what to do. You don't tell anybody what to do here. You need to find something to do. So
Yeah.
I took on a job with the Forest Reserve, Lake County Forest Reserve. I was a ranger police. I worked for the Zion Park District as a park ranger. And then I worked for Lake Forest Hospital as hospital security. I did those three jobs for about 6 years. And then in 2017, I sat down at the dinner table with my wife and say, I want to run for sheriff of Lake County. And she's like, that's not the retirement I thought we would be doing right now, John.
I said
But I
busy.
said, yeah, I
I've
said,
heard those
you know,
words.
yeah. I said, but you know what? I think I still have something left in the tank. I believe that to be the sheriff of a county, you should have someone with some extensive law enforcement background. And the previous
So,
sheriff was an attorney. He didn't have any extensive law enforcement background. So I felt, you know what? When you have a heart problem, you go see a heart specialist. You don't go see a dentist. You don't go see a brain surgeon. You go see a heart specialist. And I felt that the sheriff department need a person with my background and experience and all levels about law enforcement, know what it is to respond to a domestic call, know what it is to do a traffic stop at 2 in the morning, and hopefully your partner show up very quickly. So I felt that I could understand what the deputies are going through every day in their life and dealing with all sorts of things, and also understanding what the correctional people are going through, because I was a deputy in the jail for several years. So I stepped up and ran for office, ran against a incumbent who was there for 12 years, and I won by 137 votes. That's how close it was, gentlemen. So I'm glad to be your sheriff here in Lake County.
Was there a recount on
well, we're
that? Because
glad.
that's awful close.
Yes, it was, sir. I didn't want to bring it up, but yeah, the person did challenge the count, and they did a recount. And as they were doing a recount, I started to pick up more votes in my favor, and they decided like, oh, we're good. We're gonna walk away from there.
Yeah,
So
that's
at
awful what
the
happened.
yeah, so I'm
So,
not really sure what the number was after the recount, but I know the night of the election, it was like 2 weeks later, I think, for the final votes to come out, I won by 137 votes.
so let me ask you this: seeing that you've served at local and county and federal, when you're facing a decision with no perfect answer out there, what leadership lessons from all three of those cross over? What do you carry with you?
You know what I carry with me is public safety, doing the right thing. Look at the circumstances and evaluate it. And what's in the best interest of the people who you serve, and also to minimize loss of life. And that's what my decision making is. It's always will be what's in the best interest of the community I serve, and also what's in the best interest of my staff.
Okay, so knowing that you've got a wide variety of law enforcement offices out there, being local, sheriff, state, federal, how are you maintaining? How do you measure? How are you maintaining the trust of the people? I know, particularly with, dare I say it, with ICE in the picture, and that and people looking at them, and particularly in the Latino community, because people are looking at ICE and they've got this distrust of them, which could very well carry over to your office. How do you deal with that?
And sir, that is true. There's a lot of misinformations about ICE. Which mean me, my community, my deputies, we went out to the community and talked to people and also explained the law. In the state of Illinois, we have the Trust Act, and the Trust Act says that local police, county, and state, we cannot get involved with civil immigration laws. We do not have the authority. And none of my deputies, when they make a traffic stop or interact with anybody within our community, there's any questions about immigration status. That's not our concern. That's not our responsibility. Also, if anybody is detained within the jail, we do not notify immigration or anybody that we have someone in our jail. It is not our responsibility to enforce immigration laws. So we
Okay.
have conversation with the community. I have put stuff out in different media platform and let them know when I go to different events, the question is brought up and I say, no, we do not work with ICE. We do not assist ICE, nor do we tell ICE about what we're doing.
So it used to be, though, at one time that, okay, you arrested somebody. No, now mind you, you didn't know that they were here illegally.
Yes.
Okay, but they had committed a crime in Lake County, and they were sentenced to serve time in the Lake County jail.
Yes.
And then ICE would give their administrative warrant. I always get a kick out of those things. And at one point in time, the sheriff's office would hold that person after their sentence was served, for the local crime, and then basically turn them over. My understanding today is that doesn't happen anymore, and that's part of what ICE is trying to use as an excuse for going in after these people, even while they're still in jail.
And that is true, and you're right, that does not happen today. I do not have any interaction with ICE. We, as the sheriff and other municipalities, we do not honor that administrative warrant. It has to be a felon warrant issued by a state judge or a federal judge. So if someone is in my custody and they served their time in the county jail for whatever reason it may be, when their date of to be released, they are released back into the community. We do not notify ICE that John Idleburg is in our jail and you have a ICE detainer for that individual. I just threw my name out there. Couldn't think of anybody else. Okay. But no, we do not notify ICE and immigration. And, there's still a lot of misleading information because ICE doesn't wear any marking. And so I also tell people all my deputies wear markings on their vests or uniform to identify that they are the Lake County Sheriff Department. And we do not wear any face masks either. And that's another thing is that ICE is wearing face masks. And I tell them, no, my people do not wear face masks.
John, you're kind of very inspirational. I mean, how much work you've done in different fields. Do you do recruitment in the like the high schools or the community colleges, or because you're
Yes, we do, Tim. We do go out to all the job fairs that we're aware of. When we go out to the different job fairs at the school or career fair, that's what they call them in high school now, career fair. We talk to the students and let them know about the great experiences being public service. And I also tell people is this. If you want the face of law enforcement to change and you want more diversity, we need you to get involved. We need you to want to be part of the solution to the problem. And the community like to see people from their community in law enforcement today, understanding what they have to go through and be able to relate to them. So we do everything we can to recruit people as well as in our correction field too. We reach out to people at those different events and tell them about how great this career. And I tell them I've been doing this for 40 plus years. I love what I do. It's a great career.
Excellent, excellent.
So,
Yeah, just a shout
you-
out. My stepson. My stepson is a detective here in St. Louis.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
It's an honorable career. I tell people, yeah, we've taken hits. We've had people do bad things, but our profession is not the only profession where people do bad things. But because we are out front in the public and we have the most interaction with people, so when we stumble, we make a mistake, it's more highlighted than other entities that happen. But I also tell people is this. It's about leadership within whatever department you're in. And if you have a leader who acknowledges people do bad things to address it, I think we do better than instead of trying to hide it as we used to do in the past. It's about being transparent and having the community trust you. And when the community wants to have a conversation with the sheriff at a different event, the sheriff is there. My job is to take the hits, take the hard questions, answer the questions, and say, we have made some mistakes in the past, but this is how we want to move forward, and I need your help to move forward to make this community safer for all of us.
so John, just out of curiosity, um, what do people think a sheriff does that you actually don't do?
Well, we were just talking about immigration. I have nothing
Yeah.
to do with immigration. I tell them I don't do that. Also, I find it that some people did not understand the authority of the sheriff of the county. Some people feel that if things are going on in Highland Park, the sheriff need to go to Highland Park to fix the problem. And I said, you know what? Each municipality has their own mayor, city council, and their own law enforcement agency. As we say, that's their house. If they need some assistance, they'll call the sheriff department. But if they don't call me, I'm happy to assist at any given time, but it's their responsibility to manage their problem. I have what we call unincorporated area of Lake County, where there is no police department. Prime example is is Beach Park. Okay, Wadsworth, Lone Grove. They
Wildwood.
don't have a police department, and we are the
Wildwood.
police department for Wildwood. Thank you, sir. And there we are the police department. So if there is a concern, they call 911 and the Lake County Sheriff Department shows up.
You know what drives them nuts, though, John? My fire department, for instance, is Grays Lake.
Yes.
Okay, it's right across the road. But yet, I can't call the Grays Lake Police. I have to call you up. And a lot of people, I'm sure, think that, well, wait a minute. Grays Lake Police is right across the road. Why can't I, get them over here? And it's like, oh, it's out of their jurisdiction.
That is true. And I'm assuming, Rich, you have a 5-digit address.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
18805.
And that's another thing people don't understand. I'm in unincorporated area of Lake County. So those with those 5-digit addresses, they come under the authority or the Lake County Sheriff Department is their police department. Even though, like you said, I'm thrown across the street, but we show up. We show up.
Yeah. Well, I have to remind them of the fact too that what we pay in property taxes here, you cross Route 45 and then take my property taxes and multiply them by anywhere from 3 to 5, and that's what they pay in Grays Lake.
Yeah.
And so I remind them of that little fact, and everything. But it's it is quite interesting to see that big difference. And also our county, our government, our city hall is in Waukegan. It's county government.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. We don't have. I don't have Grays Lake. I'm unincorporated, so not only do I have the county sheriff, but I also have my city hall being the county government.
Oh, yeah,
So,
county government, yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that you deal with in a lot of ways. And so, how do you navigate all that, and everything? How do you navigate, law enforcement with county government?
Well, sir, it's like anything else. It's partnership, having an understanding, having a conversation, and also seeing what you need, Rich. How can I help you? And also letting you know about my needs and resources. It's like anything else. I think when we all can sit down on the table and have a conversation and work out our differences, I think it makes it better for all of us to move forward. And that's what I believe in. I mean, to make our community safe for all of us, it's about partnership and working together with a mutual goal of public safety for all of us.
With all we've been talking about, it brings up the issue of how 911 fits into all of this in Lake County. How, when you're talking about triaging, who needs to go where? Someone calls 911.
Yes, sir.
There's a long history to 911 here, Tim.
And I put the bear.
Well, Tim, all I can say is this. There are some concerns with 911. I would say the Lake County Sheriff Department 911 is the top of the line. No one is better than the Lake County Sheriff Department. But power to be, meaning the county board and other municipalities, decided to consolidate the 911 to a regional operations center for 911. There were a conversation with me, the Sheriff Department, and the consolidation of the 911. I had some concerns about the 911 procedures and answering calls, and there was some mandated that I have to do as the sheriff of the county. There was some conversation. We could not come to an understanding about how we can move forward. I also offered, under the consolidation rules, you can what we call co-location at the regional center. I offer that as a possible solution to my concerns. I was told no. Okay. So right now we still having a discussion about 911 public safety and the Lake County Sheriff 911 Center. And I'm hoping that someday we can come to an understanding because it's about public safety for the whole county, public safety for all of us. And I understand that some people don't realize that there's over 700,000 people in Lake County, and I'm responsible for over 300,000 of those people in unincorporated Lake County. And their service, and they'll be able to get public service, meaning the police, public safety. That's my ultimate concern because I've been elected as a sheriff. I'm responsible for public safety, and I will always advocate for the people I'm supposed to serve and protect.
Oh, very good. Oh. Very good.
I think there's 911 problems everywhere. We have 911 problems here in St. Louis.
Oh, okay then.
Oh yeah. A lot of times I call up 911 and the first question they ask me is, where am I located? And then they go, hang on a second, and then they get transferred to something.
Yes, sir.
And that delay.
And they want to make sure. Yeah, they want to make sure you're getting the right service. I mean, because where you at, they want to notify Zion or North Chicago. They want to make sure where you at, where your problem is, and then get you the right resources that you need, sir.
Oh yeah. Nope, I can understand that. So you're one of the most visible sheriffs Lake County has ever really had, in my opinion. What does showing up mean to you?
Showing up means to me is like this right now with you, Rich and Tim. When people reach out to you and say, hey, could you come talk? can you come to my event? Or become aware of different events all over the county and you're showing up, talking to people, shaking hands. And even if people are reluctant that you're there, but still show up and say, hi, my name is John D. Idleburg. I'm the sheriff of the county. Pleasure to see you. How you doing? And I think that's important because, sometimes we, and I'll say we, our elected officials, people feel that we're not reachable, we're untouchable, we don't want to talk to people. And I think that's very important that we do engage the public and talk to them and have them ask us the tough questions and answer the tough questions. They may not like my answer, but I'm going to give them an answer. I'm going to be upfront with them. And that's what I believe in.
You get the opposite thing, though, too, at times, John. Having served in public office myself, one of the things that I notice happens is that some people don't want to go up and talk with you, and my wife would be one of those type of people. They're like, oh no, I can't go up there and talk to him. He's the sheriff. I'm just a nothing person, kind of thing. And so you face that dilemma too, where you need to talk with that person, or at least go up there and say hi, kind of thing, because they don't feel it's their place. They don't feel comfortable with talking with, someone of authority like that.
And you're right, sir, and I understand that. And I do my best when I go to different events. If it's not like a couple hundred people, but if it's like 50 or 60 people, I try to go by the room and shake everybody's hand and say, good morning, good afternoon, how you doing? My name's Sheriff Idleburg. Got any questions or concern of the sheriff? And some people are like, wow, you really asking me? I'm like, yeah, I really want to know. What am I doing right? What if I'm doing wrong? And if I'm doing something wrong, educate me. Help me be a better sheriff for all of us. And that's what I believe in. And have to take the criticism and also take the accomplishment, which we all like compliments. But when we do something wrong, we need to say, okay, I need to fix it. And this is how I'm going to fix that problem.
Yep. Now let me say, all that handshaking and everything, you don't have any bruises on your hand, do you?
Well, I do have some strong people like you, Richard. We'll put a nice grip on my hand.
Oh my God! So we're almost out of time here. So, Tim, unless you've got another question you want to ask.
I think that. I was going to say what we've been involving, John, is the. We were looking for controversy at first when we started these videos up, but what we've ended up doing is educating the people about what office holders do, because as we've discovered in the last 8 years or so or more, that people don't understand what government does and how much they do. Yeah, and what's been evolving is having people explain their jobs and explain the complexities, and just to put that out there, that's what we're hoping to do with the interview with you. And,
yep, and I think we've been accomplishing that, and with that,
but only Democrats.
No, we will. Now, Tim, we've said before, if they're a Republican, we'll be happy to have them on board, and have a nice discussion with them, because that's what this boils down to. It's a discussion. Let's talk about what you do and kind of thing.
And that's true. There's only, right now in the state of Illinois, there's only 2 black sheriffs in 102 counties. We have one which is north of I-80, which is me, and then we have one south of I-80, I think is Alexander County. Tim Brown is the sheriff there.
Oh, yeah.
Currently, right now, we do not have any elected female sheriff. We have one appointed that's in Sangamon County, but she's up for running for re-election. But what's important for all of us is public safety and talking to people and being accessible to people. And as the sheriff, you are the top law enforcement agency of the county. Any law enforcement agency that may need assistance or help, we're there. We show up when they call. I have probably next to Cook County, I have the largest canine unit within state of Illinois, and I'm also
those are
responsible.
friendly dogs too.
the friendly dog. I'm also have a boat on Lake Michigan. We patrol Lake Michigan
Wow.
because up to Milwaukee, I think it is, that's where the Coast Guard is, and then it goes all the way down to south side of Chicago. And we patrol from up from the border of Lake Michigan at the Wisconsin line all the way down to the Cook County line. And then we also patrol the Channel Lake area, and that is, from what I've been told, the largest recreation waterway in the state of Illinois, I mean, in the United States. And we patrol that.
Wow.
So we do a lot of things, and a lot of people don't realize, but yeah, we do everything we can for public safety and the safety of people,
Do you have a
recreation.
helicopter?
I'm working on that, sir. I'm working on that.
I was saying, it looks like you have a full range here. I was
Yeah,
curious.
I'm working on
Yeah.
that. That's a conversation for another day. But yes, I would love to have a helicopter.
Post election. Post election.
Yes.
So, do you have anybody riding bicycles on all the trails that we have in this county?
No, we do not. That's another discussion I've had. But it's also getting staffing to do that. The climate that I'm in right now is very hard to get young people interested in law enforcement. And I
Right.
think clear across the United States, we're having a shortage of public safety officers, people stepping up wanting to be in law enforcement because some of the stuff that's going on and how the public has swayed differently about the belief of law enforcement. When I started in 1977, I used to go to testing, and you had probably about two or 300 applicants applying for only 3 jobs. And I think my last testing, we had about over 100 people apply, and then we only had about 50 people that showed up. And then
Wow.
once you do the screening, the testing, the poly, the psych, the background, the physical, you weed it down to maybe about 25 people on the list, if that. Sometimes it's only 15.
Yeah.
So it's very challenging trying to get people to understand this is a great job, a great opportunity to change minds, to help our community, and also impress young kids because they like to see people that look like them in uniform. And I go to these different events, I give the little kids high five and, a dap, and they
That's
happy
fun.
to see the sheriff of the county.
Hey, here's something. You're speaking of young people, okay, and a lot of these kids were raised on computers.
Yeah.
So, how much in the way of technology crimes does your office cover?
We do a lot, it's sad, but to say, Rich, we do a lot of crimes against senior citizens. We do a lot of crime against sex predators on our children. It is so sad to the
Yeah.
point now that we have what we call is a electronic dog. And people are like, what do you mean electronic dog? It's a dog that able to sniff electronic equipment like thumb drive, cell phones, computers, because now criminals are using thumb drives, computers, and phones to communicate and commit their crimes, and they're hiding these particular devices in walls and safes and departments within their house. And this dog will go into your residence and sniff where that electronic device is. And we have found that these individuals who's preying on our children, having all this child pornography on these thumb drives, computers, and stuff like that. And
So
we have to identify those people.
that's an interesting concept because I'm trying to, being, having been an IT project manager and Tim was in programming and a project manager and all this in IT. And so the first thing I'm sure he probably is instantly thinking about, I wonder how they programmed that. Because it's got to be sending a signal out.
Yeah.
Well, the way I understood it, I'm not an expert, is that there is some type of glue that's in these particular devices, thumb drives, computers, cell phone, and that's what the dog is trained on to sniff and smell. So even if you put it in a container, like in a safe or in a wall, because of that scent and smell, the dog can find it. The same thing as when it comes to drugs. Their senses are keen to that particular smell, and this particular, what we call the electronic dog, he's been trained on that smell, and they can identify that smell in anybody's house or inside a building. And they will, what we call, they will alert on it.
When you first said
because I was
electronic
looking-
dog, I imagined a viral type digital dog out on the street.
Yeah.
A robot, a little robot dog, you know?
Yeah, but no. As we
Well,
say,
I
it's
was-
a four-legged little pet, but we call it the electronic dog.
Well, I was thinking that
I
it would do more of
I'd
a.
never heard of that.
I was thinking
I'd
more of an
never heard of
RF
that.
signal. I was
Oh.
thinking more of an RF signal.
Yes, sir.
Kind of thing. You know, well, because it's sort of like reading barcodes and things. What happens with an RF signal is it sends a signal to the barcode. It actually powers up the circuitry in there, serves as its power source,
Yeah.
so that it can read what that barcode says. And I was almost thinking it'd be do the same thing with a thumb drive or something of that nature, because it gets its power source from the unit it's plugged into. So
Yes.
if you send a signal to it, but I never thought of the glue. But I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
that's
just
interesting.
like this phone. It's some gluing that they put the circuitry board or whatever it may be. It's in that phone. It's in all the phones now. And the same thing with the thumb drives, those memory sticks, whatever you want to call them. They have that particular gluing into it, and that's what the dog alerts on.
So this isn't some kind of a secret we should be letting out, is it?
It's out there. It's out there. And when we have presentation, we let the kids know about it. So we tell them, like, that's what the dog sniff on. So in some of the presentation, we will take the dog outside and put electronics, thumb drives, phones and stuff, and then we'll have the dog go out there and the dog will alert. And the kid's like, really? He found it. But yes.
Nice. So now with that, we're about running out of time. So one last question. In the years that you've been sheriff, and we're going to limit it to those years, what's
Okay.
what's your most memorable moment?
Going to a third grade class and sitting down talking to the kids about the sheriff. And matter of fact, it was Black History Month. And a couple of kids walked up to me and they're like, "You black and you the sheriff." I like, "Yeah, and you could be sheriff someday too." They're like, "Yeah," and then they give me the high five. So there's nothing like interacting with our young kids and talking to them and smiling with them and taking pictures with them. It really warms my heart. I mean, no matter all the drama I may have to deal with as a sheriff, but interacting with our young kids in the school and also being a grandparent, it really warms my heart to see that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
John, if you want to
John,
stick around right
thank you.
after here, we usually have a little wrap up after we do
Yeah.
close the recording.
Okay, then.
So
That'll be great.
So John, thank you very, very much for your time. We appreciate it. I think it was a wonderful conversation with you, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again someday. And with that,
Looking forward
we're going
to
to
it.
wrap this up. We are Democratic Defenders. My name is Rich Garling, and this is my co-host,
I'm
Tim Bagwell. And with that, have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Democratic Defenders. You can see more of Tim's and Rich's work on Substack at tim.bagwellsubstack.com or richgarlingsubstack.com or on Facebook or Instagram.